we're gonna go move some cornstalk bales home. Some corn bales just across the road. Usually would take the trailer and get some. I'm gonna try to answer your questions about pouring the cornstalk bales. So we'll just do this the slow way. It is supposed to rain the next day or so. Usually we'll just go over and get these as we need them throughout the day to grind and feed. But since it's going to rain and be a little muddy out here in the field, we're going to go get these a couple days worth of bales moved home, or we'll just keep moving bales as I answer questions. I got my my tablet with all the questions off of that video. I didn't answer a lot of them because I wanted to basically answer them for everybody. But as you remember, in the turning the bales over to part liquid feed, we got them all set up over here, flipped over. These are basically the last bales we hauled off the fields. And as you can see, they're all rowed up in a single row now. We flipped them over about 2 days later because it snowed, was going to snow, so we flipped them over before they got wet. So basically, we flip them over so they can pour them, and then I guess it's a little icy out here, but then we flip them back around the other way. So to get to some of the questions off of that video, Tennessee Hillbilly had mentioned that he has done the same thing, but from what I've kind of gathered, he kind of has his own tank, and then he dumps it on the bales by hand, which we thought about doing that, or getting a liquid tank with their own pump system on. But right now, for the co-op to come out and do it is more economical. So this is, I guess, the way we're going to do it. But yes, that is also what we've thought about doing. Michigan Farming asks if we've been hauling nor yet. Yeah, we've not a big production because of the skid steer was down. But now that the skid steer is ready to roll, we can get into places where we need to get into places. But basically, yes, all winter we need to haul manure. So we've done some, but we really need to get back at it, especially now that we got the 966s fixed. So we got all of our tractors back in business, at least for today. Everything likes to break, but at least, yeah, we're always hauling north. Keith Sorensen, thanks for explaining the method. Thank you, Keith, for commenting. Same to Mr. Nate. DLK, hey, so can you effectively make straw to hay quality feed as well, or is there that much more of a starting point in the corn stalks? I would actually prefer straw because it's finer stem. The problem with the corn stalks is the coarse stalk part. The cows will eat the leaves and the husk, no problem. It's the stalk part that we're trying to get broke down. It's like it's really rough. They'll eat it, but it's not their first choice. But we don't have straw in this part of the country, and if there is straw in this area, it's sold for bedding, and it brings more than hay does because people will buy straw because they need straw. We buy a couple hay racks loads worth of small square bales every year. Straw for you've seen them in the goat barns, etc. That stuff costs us more per ton than hay does, but it's that's what we need for that types of purposes. I'm gonna try to do this as fast as I can, as well as explain everything, because we don't need to get too long. But if nothing else, should be able to see my driveway about 100 times. Dairy farm bids. Molasses is what we feed our cows, but they have a tank on site where they mix feed. Yes, that's what I would like to do. because basically it's a liquid protein supplement. So anybody that puts liquid feed or protein supplement in their beef calf rations, mostly it's a dry pellet. This is basically just the liquid version of it, and then it kind of improves ration palatability as well. Go on to ask, do you think there is a difference if you let the bale sit as to pour on the spot? Yes, I do think there is a difference if you can soak those bales up. It kind of really gets into them versus just covering them, so it kind of breaks them down. I would, like I mentioned before, I would like to maybe get a tank on my own eventually, and then I would probably still do it the same way, is pour the bales in advance so they have some time to soak through and kind of get a little mushy, which they really don't get that mushy, but if you can let them sit there and soak it up, kind of like marinating a steak or something, it gets soaked in there and it kind of, all the way through. Larson Valley Farm, is it QLF, quality liquid feeds? Yes, it is. It's what they call pasture 40. It's a 40% protein feed grade urea with molasses and vitamins. Yep. It's a liquid protein supplement. So it's got the protein, the vitamins, the minerals, the whole 9 yards. Meant for beef cows. A lot of times people put these in lick tanks. That's what it's made for, is to put it in a lick tank or to mix in a TMR ration. But if you don't have a lick tank or a TMR wagon, you pour it on the bales and then you feed the bales to the cows. That was the original idea behind the whole thing, was for people that needed to supplement protein or vitamins to their cows. This was an option. Most of you guys will know that smaller cow calf operations, the way we used to do it, is you put a round bale out for the cows in a bale feeder or whatever, and then you either give them some free choice mineral or mineral block or whatever, but then a lot of times in the winter time, you'll give them a protein tub, like a molasses lick tub. This is the same thing as that, but it's a lot cheaper. And so they have the protein lick tanks. Sours Cow Co on YouTube. They use those every now and then on their pastures. I think some of those. He has an older video of filling one. But this system basically just kind of eliminates that lick tank. You're just pouring the liquid supplement right on the bales, and then feeding them, and then plus it kind of helps improve the quality of the bales, the palatability of the bales. Larson Valley went on to tell about how they back in the drought, people in that area were, and he's up in northern Wisconsin, I believe. They were basically kind of grinding corn stalks with the feed and adding water to them and kind of making their own silage type. Yes, these bales, what I found is the bales are a little cruddier, not moldy or rotten, but a little wetter. When you grind them up and let them sit, they all soften up, and then the cows really take to them. So when you have a lot of corn stalks available to you at an economical price, this is what we use. Do you back your family livestock? Do you grind the bale straight into the feed wagon? Yes, as we need them, or as we use them, we rip the wrap off and throw them right in the feed wagon. These bales we do not run through the hay grinder as of yet. These bales are more for our beef cows. So we will mix 1 or 2 of these bales plus basically like for 80 cows, or every load of feed, and I had to do my math again, but I would put a bale of corn, one of these bales in, a bale of hay in, and then we'll put X number of pounds of wet gluten in, and then we will top the ration off with the plain ground corn stalks that you see on the pile that we have the hay grinder coming basically our cows are eating half to 2/3 corn stalks, ground hay, and then liquid protein supplement, and then some wet glue. And that's what makes up our cow rations. The exact numbers I'd have to look them up because I've got too many things on my mind at the moment to remember what all those are. But that's what we're feeding the cows. So these bales, we will rip the wrap off and then throw them right into the feed wagon. When the weather is froze, it works a little better because the bale kind of sticks together. Otherwise, we just have to take the wrap off and then we have to scoop them in because whatever falls off the bale. That's the only problem with corn stalk bales is they're kind of hard to handle in that situation. Dennis Modzel, roughly how many pounds do you put on per bale? About 10%. So we're putting on 12 to 1,500 pound bale. We're putting roughly 120 or 150 pounds of supplement on them. I don't know what the math adds up, but they bring about 6,800 pounds in a truck on their little trailer tote, and then they pour about 50 bales off of that. What is the price per bale to have this done? They charge us a couple dollars a bale to have them come do it. The feed price will vary by location, but we probably have 20 some odd dollars per bale into these, which is kind of expensive, but it makes really good feed, something we can use, and it's kind of, when hay is expensive, this is really cheap. When hay is really cheap like it is now, it's not so much, but when you have X number of acres every year of whatever you have, I guess it all averages out. Iowa Dairy Boys said they learn more off of my videos than they do in school. Well, that's why you have to go to school every day, so you keep learning. Stay in school, guys. But thank you guys for watching. I'm glad you can take some things home from my videos. John Chambers, is it a form of liquid nitrogen feed that inject bales? No, it's I know what he's talking about. We've actually have thought about using anhydrous ammonia before. That's a whole different process. It's a liquid protein supplement, just like a dry protein supplement that you would add to your calf rations that you buy at the co-op or the feed store in a bag. It's the same thing, but it's in a liquid form. Most of the bigger feed yards, the dairies, use a liquid form of feed because it is cheaper per pound, and it also adds some ration qualities or some palatability issues. It's a kind of a ration conditioner, but it takes a tank, kind of some and a pump, and kind of you need to kind of use it fast. You can't, because you'll get a semi-load of it. So we're not to that point yet of switching to liquid protein, because we'll have to buy a tank and a pump, and that's last I knew it was between $2,000 to $3,000 for the whole setup. So right now we're just going to do it this way. Brandon Van Gorp, he asked if we ground these up and then mix them with dry distillers or even wet distillers, and then packed them kind of like how you would do silage. Not yet. I have thought about that, because what we're trying to improve is the feed quality of the stalks, and what the thing is on the corn stalks is the stalk part, not the leaves or the husk. It's the stalk that we're trying to get them to eat. But what we need to do is get to that stalk kind of broke down where it's not so hard and rough I made the analogy, I think in the previous video about it's like eating celery. It's not your first choice. But you know, if there's celery cooked in, I don't know, beef stew or soup or whatever, it's all broken down, and it's not so bad. You don't have to sit there and chew on it all day. So that's what we're trying to do, and I have been trying to think of different ways to do this that are economical, because the cows will eat them. They do sort some, but when they finally figure out that's what they get to eat, they will eat them, and they have all day to sit there and chew on them. So and that sounds a little cruel or what you want to call it, but they actually do. The cows clean them up really well. It's the feeder cattle that tend to get a little picky and kind of like start leaving the stock part, which I don't know what percent of the bales that is, but I will also mention you can do these bales and then throw them in a bale ring. If you're going to feed them, just let the cows free choice eat off of them. You'd probably be severely disappointed because they're going to pick through it all. But when we can run them through the either the hay grinder, the tub grinder, the hay buster, or just to run through the feed wagon like we are doing, it does all chew them up. So it makes a lot better palatability feed all to start with. So basically, corn stalks are rough, kind of a rough feed. They have the same, basically the nutrition on them is the same as straw, but we're just dealing with a coarser product, so we have to kind of get them to figure out how to beat that, which is not that hard. Cows graze corn stalks all the time, but what they're doing is eating the leaves and the husk and the grain. They're not eating the actual stalk part of it. But around here, this is corn country. This is Iowa. We raise corn here, not cows, not straw, not wheat. So we have all kinds of corn stalks. There's been a lot of stuff done with making corn stalks into cow feed, and so that's what we're doing. But this is kind of how we're doing it at the moment. Is just pouring liquid feed on them to make them a little improved. There's some more questions that will kind of get more into that. Let's see. Where are we at now? KW Feller. I think he's out east, backgrounds cattle. From what I've seen, a good channel for some people that it's kind of he needs to make a few more videos, because I think he's got some useful information to share with people. So keep it up, KW Feller. He was talk about he has fescue, orchard grass hay, overripe dry. Yeah, basically mature hay. Would it work on them? Yes, it would. And that's kind of what people usually do with it is pour that onto hay, poor quality hay or just low quality hay. We grind it just to get the calves to eat it. You can grind a lot of junk. I mean, junk is rough quality feed, not moldy or rotten feed. Just poor quality feed. Because I agree with that. You can run grass hay, mature grass hay through a hay grinder, and it's like eating second cutting alfalfa. You chew it all up. It improves the palatability of it. Exactly. You set bales out in a bale feeder. They sit there and pick through what they want, and they leave what they don't want. He says he has no way of adding liquid to his TMR mix. Well, that's kind of the way I am. I have nothing to store the liquid feed. So we are pouring the liquid feed onto the bales, and our bales are basically our storage. our liquid feed. So we add these bales to the ration. So basically, I know what these bales weigh dry, and I know what we put on them. So then that just becomes a ingredient into our ration. Because we don't mix these bales in, or we don't pour all of our bales like this, because you've noticed the ground pile is those are just straight plain bales, and we'll add these bales or hay bales. I want to try to pour some hay bales, because the problem with the corn stalks is it doesn't quite soak all the way through. But when we're grinding them up and mixing them, it really doesn't matter. It's kind of more of a way to store the liquid feed. Like he mentioned, he doesn't have any place to store it. Well, I don't either. And so we basically, they just come out and dump it on our bales, and then we can use those bales as we need them. I know there's we could talk forever on all these subject stuff, so I'm trying to hit the high points on a lot of this, and etc. So they've had bales injected with urea. What does the protein supplement you're using consist of? It is Quality Liquid Feeds Pasture 40, I believe is the name. You can go to the Land O'Lakes or Quality Liquid Feed website on the internet, anybody, and look that up. But basically, it's a 40% protein supplement. It's got vitamins and minerals. It's basically a complete cow supplement. Probably recommended at 1 or 2 pounds per cow per day during the winter time. Trey Mummert, one of his favorite channels, he says. Thank you, Trey, that means a lot. I'm glad you like watching. Stay tuned, we'll try to keep making more videos. Leo D comments a lot. He just likes the video, so yeah, thanks Leo for leaving comments all the time. Same with T-Mar B. Joel McLeod asked, how did we turn the tractor tires inside out in the feeders? We bought them that way. There is a guy he's probably an hour and a half away, that sells those, or at least he used to. It's been a year or so ago. But he has a machine that turns them inside out. And I'm not sure if there is a video on YouTube somewhere about how they do it. But basically, they cut one sidewall out, and then they put it on a machine, and it just inverts it, turns it inside out. We've got almost 70 of those right now. They're the best feed bunks for out in the middle of nowhere, like we have, like in the cow yards or out in the fields, that you can buy. They're basically indestructible. Like I said, we have like 70 of them. We've kind of accumulated them over the last 20 years. My landlord, about half of them I think are his, or a third of them are his, from when we had cows back in the old days. And as I've expanded or got more cattle, I bought a bunch. So at least a third of those are 20 years old. The other 2/3 are 5 to 10 years old. But the reality is those tires are probably 40 years old, because they're made out of used tractor tires. But we buy them that way. They're very economical. We've gotten rid of I think Dad took about 3 of them to the landfill a year or 2 ago because we couldn't keep them around anymore. They basically just rotted away too much. And then we took them to the landfill because we don't like junk, and then we really can't burn stuff because the sheriff will be here, etc. and then we're not throwing them in a ditch because that's not the right thing to do. So we took them to the landfill. We paid our $5 a tire to get rid of them, and they were properly disposed of. So, but other than that, they've lasted a long time. And I'm thinking that's the end of those questions. Sometimes my tablet doesn't load all the questions for some dumb reason. But basically, this was somebody came up with this idea for more moderate-sized cow-calf operations or small cow-calf guys that needed to feed a liquid or needed to feed protein supplement to low-quality hay. That were usually using like molasses poured tubs, and those of you guys that are gonna take something away from this know what I'm talking about. You know, the 250-pound tubs in the plastic container that you roll out in the cow yard. This stuff is cheaper, and you can actually pay for buying a lick tank. They're doing it this way, and of course the liquid feed is more palatable because the cows don't have to sit there and lick off of a block for half the day. But then for people that don't have, you know, they have 30 cows and don't want to spend $700, $800 on a tank or more, or I don't even know what they cost. You can just get this stuff poured right onto your bales. That all depends on your location and who you're with or whatever. I've got 2 co-ops that I can get this stuff from. One of them actually will come out and do it. The other one I would have to do it myself. So it's a no-brainer of who we have to do it. Somebody that will come out and do it. So we're really grateful for that. And it does improve the kind of the palatability and the quality of the feed as you know, these bales will sit for, you pour 50 bales, and if you got 50 cows or whatever, those bales will sit there for a couple weeks, and so, you know, they'll soak through, and so then they'll just really make them taste really well. So anybody that is feeding cows or calves with round bales, but then they're using a protein tub or something supplement type of deal, I would seriously consider looking into a liquid feed. I'm not promoting anybody. Nobody's paying me to do this. But if you got a co-op or a feed dealer that would do something like this, I would recommend doing it this way versus throwing a dry old tank out, lick tank out with them. But that all depends on where you're at. That's kind of all those questions off of there. Like I said, we ran back and forth 300 times, or not 300, but probably 7-8 times. We usually would put these on a hay trailer, but since we're doing videos, we're multitasking and dragging it out. Let's see what else. So that's this. Hopefully the next time we can get some video of them doing it, because I was gone. I was hauling some hay home when they were here. It was before Christmas, and we don't have time to sit around and wait for them. They just show up when we ask them to, and they do it, etc. So we'll get into that, and I'm sure there'll be some follow-up questions. We'll do that. I also wanted to let's see, kind of cover some things on some other videos. I'd like to comment or respond to everybody that leaves comments. That's what I really enjoy about YouTube, is the interaction. But there's times where I can't physically get it all done, and then I get a lot of comments. So, but I do read every one of them, and so that's what I kind of want to just touch base on at the moment is thank you for everybody that comments. The skid steer and dealer video, yeah, basically everybody, I agree, they kind of all know what I was up against and etc. And that skid steer, I would have bought it if they would have said no, we cannot do that. Their price is the lowest price they will go. I was prepared to buy it. It was still a good deal, but mostly out of all out of principle. No, because they weren't. They didn't say no, we can't do that. We have to have what we're asking for it. If they would have said that right away, or said when he said I'd call you back, and then he actually would have called me back, and they said no, we can't take that. We need this. I would have said okay. I'll be down to get it or whatever, because I was prepared to buy it, but I knew they were asking more than it was worth anyway. But just out of principle for them being the way they acted, no, I didn't buy it. I'm still looking for something kind of like that, something that's cheap, that's good, but that's beside the point. So anyway, thanks to everybody that's commented on that video. Everybody's kind of we're all on the same page of the dealers, and why people have what they have is because of all that. And then just the other day I did my tractor hours. I didn't totally mention why I do that or how I do what is I also have a little book in every tractor throughout the year, so when we go mow hay or do something, we write down the hour count, so we know how much it's cost, how many hours we spend at certain farms mowing hay or doing hay or running all over the place to get 5 bales or 100 bales or whatever. That's what kind of makes my decisions, right or wrong. But at least I know how many hours, minutes, or whatever it takes to grind a bale of hay, because I've kept track of them. I need to kind of update my little list